Here's a question for you. Are you happy with your current salary? Do you think it reflects the time and effort you put into your role as an employee? There is a constant tension between employees who want to get paid as much as possible and employers who ultimately only want to pay enough to retain the employees and to maximize their profit. This might seem cold and calculating, but it's how companies honestly make money. While most employees believe that they deserve more money for the effort they put into their work, few ever actually act on this and request a raise from their boss. It could be out of fear of being reprimanded or rejected, but some people may not even know that it's usually okay to ask for a raise from your boss. In the vast majority of cases, the worst they could say is no. The truth is, though, that most employers are more than willing to give out raises than they actually let on. If they think that you provide value to the company, they'll want to keep you on their team and may be willing to renegotiate your salary. However, it's up to you to prove to your boss that you deserve this raise based on specific measurable evidence, such as your performance and even the current wages of similar positions at competing companies. So in this video, we're going to review some tips, tricks, and strategies that you can utilize when looking for a raise from your manager or organization. Before we get started, as always, please consider liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. It's honestly free and really helps us out a lot. Preparing to request a raise. Like I said, it's only natural that most employees desire more money and in turn want a raise. While it's true that many workers are underpaid in their positions, employees looking for a raise need to step back and take an objective look at their role in the company to see if a raise is appropriate. Sure, you could go up to your boss unprepared and ask him for a raise, but your chances of success are actually slim. You need to prove to your boss that you're deserving of a raise. I previously mentioned the tension between employers and employees and their opposing financial goals. It's up to you to find a middle ground that benefits both you and the company, how significant of a raise you can ask for without your boss rejecting the idea. To do this, you need to determine the value you bring to the company. Determining your value. Are you getting paid what you're worth? Do you feel that your salary reflects the value of your time and effort? It's an unfortunate fact that much of your hard work will go unnoticed by your superiors. They might see that you regularly complete your tasks on time and to do a satisfactory degree. Still, they have other things to take care of and might not understand the time and effort you actually put in to get things done in a reasonable and timely manner. The organization's perception of your value is ultimately more important than the actual work you put into the job. So it's up to you to advocate for yourself and show that you're not just completing your responsibilities. You're going above and beyond in a way another employee might not. So what does going above and beyond actually look like? One big way to show you deserve a raise is to take up the initiative and tackle your responsibilities head on as they arise. Don't wait for your boss or manager to tell you to do something. Use the knowledge of your workplace that you've built up to anticipate the needs of your coworkers and superiors and be proactive. If you're new to the position, you may take a different approach. You might not have enough experience to anticipate problems as they arise. Still, you can be proactive by seeking out help from your superiors, asking questions, and showing them that you're dedicated to learning the job quickly to maximize your efficiency. If there are any other projects or activities beyond your normal scope that you can contribute or help out with now and then, that'll also help you stand out as well. Additionally, request frequent feedback and incorporate it into your daily activities. If your boss has critiques about areas for improvement, don't get discouraged. Maintain a positive attitude and use it as a learning experience. Slowly, you will learn to deal with criticism and rejection in stride. And confidence is another excellent way to show your boss that you deserve a raise. After consistently putting your best foot forward on the job, you might find yourself lose track of your accomplishments. Your boss is also busy and is keeping track of multiple employees' performances as well. In this case, it's essential to have something tangible to help make your case for a raise. Keep a file of your accomplishments. This may sound like a silly idea at first, but employees and employers agree that keeping a physical record of your accomplishments and value to the company can be actually very helpful. There are numerous benefits to keeping such a file, the least of which are organizational. Aside from being physical proof of your successes, keeping organized notes that strengthens your case shows your boss that you are proactive and interested in staying at the organization. Besides your accomplishments, this file should also contain other evidence that demonstrates your value to the company, specifically your market value, which is how much companies typically pay employees in your role. Here, you'll want to do some research using websites like Indeed, LinkedIn, and Glassdoor to see how similar positions at other companies in your area pay compared to your salary. If you look up comparable salaries for your role to be around $100,000, now you have tangible evidence and data points to reference if needed. You can also investigate salary guidebooks and even contact recruiters like me to get their input on how your wages compare to others in the industry. Good recruiters are supposed to be masters of their industries or markets and should be knowledgeable about trends and basic information like salaries, so make sure you ask them as well, as they can be a great free resource. Suppose you're considering or actively searching for a new job. In that case, you can even use other offers as leverage when negotiating a higher salary at your current position. At this point, it's all about collecting as much information and data as you can get to help with your arguments. If you do have a competing offer that offers 20% more to your salary, that can also be great to use when you speak with your manager. Just be prepared that sometimes your manager or employer won't match that or counter it all. Through your research, if you find that, for example, you were underpaid at your current job by 10 or by 15%, that is grounds enough to definitely ask for a raise, and make sure you ask for that as a minimum. Having detailed notes of your accomplishments and ample market data will equip you with the bargaining power to work with. If you do a great job in your work, your employer should acknowledge that and be prepared to do what they can to respond appropriately. Determine an appropriate raise. Once you've gathered enough evidence that proves your market value and demonstrates the hard work and effort you put into your job, it's really time to start thinking about how much of a raise to ask for. This will depend on numerous variables, including your position, current market value, experience, and seniority. But you should have a good idea of these based on your previous research. Some other things to consider when determining an appropriate raise amount is how much it would cost your employer to find a replacement. It costs money to offboard a previous employee and locate and train a new one. You could do some research to determine this. Typically, companies use a percentage of a part-time salary or even 6 to 9 months of a full-time salary to determine the cost of replacing an employee. It might be more cost-effective for them to actually provide you with a raise. Use this to your advantage, or at least be aware of it. It's okay to have a specific number in mind, but consider presenting a request for a raise as a percentage and not an integer. Percentages are less tangible than asking for a dollar amount and may sound more attractive to your manager while they're making their decision. So if you're making $100,000 a year and you want to target $110,000, ask for a 10% raise instead of an extra $10,000. It is the same thing, but psychologically works differently. Employees usually seek a 10 to 15% raise. However, if you find that you're being significantly underpaid or feel that you've done a ton of value for your company, you may consider asking for more. Just make sure that if you follow through here, you can have some rough data points from your research to reference to back you up if needed. Asking for a raise. Now comes the critical part, asking. You might be wondering when the best times to approach your boss about a raise is. Well, some obvious choices include after a fiscal term, they'll know immediately if they have budget for the raise, after you've made a significant accomplishment or led a successful project, and most effectively during an annual performance evaluation. An evaluation is beneficial as your boss may already be thinking about a potential raise, and you'll be well equipped to help them make the decision. You won't want to request a raise from your boss during a stressful or tumultuous time, such as a hectic week, a company reorg, or layoffs. Before approaching your manager, determine their mood and level of engagement. You don't want them to be angry and distracted during this crucial moment. It is recommended that you reach out to your boss and schedule a formal time where you can sit down and talk. However, depending on where you work and your relationship with your superior, you can also approach them and ask casually. Studies show that employers and employees are at their happiest on a Friday morning. They're looking forward to the weekend and are still engaged to work to make a thoughtful decision. When determining a time to request a raise, keep this in mind as this is a small but crucial factor. When you finally request a raise from your boss, start by sharing your positive thoughts about your position. Stress that you are happy at the organization and want to stay, and then present and research the findings. Conclude by asking for a raise and then allow your manager to respond. I really want to stress here to make sure you ask for a raise clearly and concisely, and there's honestly no need to keep this long or just to ramble. Know exactly what you want and then ask for it, and then wait and listen for the response. They may ask for some time to think it over. This is fine, but don't let the opportunity slip by. Set a specific deadline for your boss to get back to you so it doesn't slip his mind. Make sure that before the meeting ends, you have a follow-up day and time set so you know exactly when you can continue the discussion. With a bit of luck and perseverance, you'll soon find yourself with a higher salary. If this plays out the way you wanted, congratulations, and that's absolutely fantastic news. If it doesn't work out, as we said before, make sure you can get a rough timeline on when you can follow up with the subject and possibly re-engage the conversation. If it's an acceptable timeline and you're okay with that, focus just on doing the best that you can in your job, gather more successes and accomplishments, research, and try again. If you don't see a scenario anytime soon to review your salary and you fear you might have to wait another 6 or even 12 months or longer to start the conversation again, you might have to consider finding a new job if you want to. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth review of tips and tricks to keep in mind when seeking a raise. If you have any questions or would like to share your tips or stories about requesting a raise, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video or learned a thing or two, please consider liking, as it's completely free and really means a lot. You can also add me on Instagram and TikTok at Preston_Park, as I try my best to post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.